What's going on, everybody? Mike Hogan and Sean Bowen here for Keys of the Game. A cold, drizzly day in the city of Toronto, but we're going to spice up your life. My Spice Girls reference is on point with some hot football talk. Hoagie, let's go back to last Friday. S.J. Green, what can you say about this guy? 10,000 plus yards, 700 catches, becomes the 18th all-time wide receiver to eclipse that 10,000 yard mark. I don't know what's more of a spectacular feat. The fact that this league has been around for 100 plus years and only 18 guys that have done this, or is it just S.J. Green, and how good he is to get 10,000 plus yards?
A little bit of both. I mean, and the number could be a lot higher for S.J. When he came into the league with Montreal, he had a boatload of guys ahead of him, so he didn't play very much his first 3 years, and he's been able to do this in a relatively short period of time. So he's that good. I mean, he brings the absolute primo work ethic that you want in a player, both on and off the field. He's got leadership intangibles, but I mean, that game, he's had three really big games this year where he's gone over 100 yards. The Argos are 3-0 in games where S.J. Green has 100 yards. So the one against Ottawa, the two wins against Ottawa, and the one against Winnipeg. So he's still got it. And when he's on his game, you know, that was great. And it was an honor to call that play. Like, it was fantastic.
That's what I wanted to ask. And next, you being the voice of the Argos, where does that rank on your calls of?
It's up there. I mean, some of them have been special. I was fortunate enough to call Anthony Calvillo becoming the leading passer of all time. And from a statistical, one-off, that's it. There have been games, obviously. The 2012 Grey Cup was a lot of fun, obviously. The East Final that year was a blast. The win here against Saskatchewan in 17 was a lot of fun. Yep. But just from that individual milestone, it's right near the top, especially since he had more than one routine catch in that game. He had a couple of spectacular catches in that game.
I think one thing that kind of also got lost in the shuffle is the fact that Armani Edwards had 2 touchdowns in that game, too. That went there. It was quiet. No one even talked about it post-game when we were talking to Coach Chamberlain. It was crazy. I mean, the fact that he did it, unbelievable.
Great throws on both of those by Matt.
100%.
Like, they were fantastic passes.
100%. Let's now go to the defensive side of the ball. Toby Antigua making the start at linebacker, 2 interceptions. Cleon Lang coming back with 2 sacks. Let's talk about those two guys.
Well, let's talk about Toby Antigua's hands, and people may not realize this. He didn't play defense until he got to the CFL. Mm-hmm. He was a receiver in college, so when you see him catch the ball away from his body like he did, there's a reason for that. That's what he did all of his football career. So to see him catch the ball like that, but it's been such a revolving door at middle linebacker this year with Herdman Reed and Wild and Woods, and it's always just so many guys have gone through there and been injured. He was the next man up, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. And Cleon Lang on the defensive side, it just goes unnoticed because he plays a relatively tough place to see from the fans' point of view in the middle at defensive tackle, but you see him often chasing quarterbacks, and that's
down
what he
in the
does
trenches
exceptionally
is what
well.
they say.
But he is so good, and maybe still undervalued by Argo fans, not because of what he does, but just because of where he plays.
Yeah.
You make an interception like Antigua does, you're in the middle of you're right around the football.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes you'll see Cleon, when he gets a sack, it's because of pocket collapse, and you just see massive bodies getting around the quarterback. But Cleon's that good. He's a fantastic player.
So with 3 games remaining on the schedule here, we're in Montreal this Friday. What do you want to see from the final 3 games from this Toronto Argonauts team leading into next season?
I want to see the same kind of effort. We talked about this last week, but you want to see those guys go out every week. And I know it's been talked about a little bit. I'm curious to see what Mike O'Connor can do at quarterback. I mean, as somebody who has covered university football in this country and really waves a flag for guys to get an opportunity, whether it be here or somewhere else in the CFL, to see the Canadians get an opportunity to play quarterback at the CFL level. I want to see what Mike O'Connor can do. I mean, a guy who went to IMG in Florida, prep school before that in Tennessee, gets his opportunity at Penn State to go in and prove himself, but they also recruited Christian Hackenberg that year, so he didn't really have a chance, but comes up to Canada, wins the Vanier Cup with UBC. I want to see what he can do at this level. He's got all the skill set. We saw him in the game at Varsity Stadium with a spectacular pass for a touchdown. So I want to see Mike take some lumps, learn a little bit about the pro game, but see what he can do at this level.
Okay, let's do a quick key to the game here. Okay. Shortly, quickly, what's a key to a victory here on Friday?
Getting S.J. Green 100 yards.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. And you know what? They're going to honor him in Montreal because he spent the duration of the most of part of his career with the Alouettes. So they're going to recognize that achievement, which they should do. And I can see S.J. going back and doing it again.
If you want to go watch the moment that we put together and pulled together, it's unbelievable. You can hear Hoagie's call, actually, of the 10,000-yard catch. It's spectacular. Hoagie, thanks very much for joining me here this week. Be sure to head over to argonauts.ca to watch our pull-together moment for S.J. Green and his 10,000-yard catch. You can hear Mike Hogan's call on it. It's absolutely spectacular from one broadcaster to another.
Thank you.
one of the best, my friend, and that's why you are greatly valued here on Keys to the Game, and we love having you on. Thanks very much for joining us here. We will see you guys next week. And a reminder, the Toronto Argonauts take on the Montreal Alouettes this Friday, 7 o'clock in Montreal, and be sure to watch on TSN, and we will see you guys next week.